Hello and welcome to another edition of the. No, I'm kidding.
That's not what this is.
Hey, we're here today to talk to you as our team leaders at Metro.
Yes.
So it's a special day where we've pulled everybody together and we're teaching and we're training. And it's just so important. The bigger our church gets, Mary, the
Yeah.
more and more intentional that
Absolutely.
we need to be. So we are actually out of town. We're in Greece and we're recording this because we want to be a part of
That's
it.
right.
So we're going to be talking today about culture and cultured, how important that is within our church that all of us adapt and adopt the culture
Yes.
of Metro, which means then we are cultured in this whole environment. And this is very important because we all got to get on the same page.
We do.
And you remember at the beginning stages of our church, how we had to work so hard to make sure that we had this culture within our church.
And cultures don't just happen.
Yeah.
They don't just happen. We were very intentional from the very beginning of our church to make sure that we were going to set a culture and that culture would keep us and protect us and create an environment that people would say, what's so different about your church? Why is Metro different?
Mhm.
It's different, not by happenstance, not by coincidence, but intentionality.
Yeah.
And even today, we will have people that other pastors will say, how do you do it? How have you kept the same people around you for so many years? And how
Mhm.
why are you so friendly? This is the friendliest church. Our reviews will say, man, friendliest church in Miami. Well, that's part of the culture.
Yeah, got a text from a friend who came to our Dadeland campus this past weekend. And sure enough, first thing he texts me saying is, wow, you have the friendliest
That's right.
staff around. So that is, it's very intentional.
And I want to interject here
Yeah.
quickly. It's that way because we started from day one. And I don't know, for those of you who've been with us for a long time, the 2-minute rule that we had back in the
Way
old
back
building,
when. Mhm.
way back when, a 2-minute rule, because it's very easy for us as church members to get to church and see our friends and get cliquey and not mean to be. So we had a 2-minute rule that you could not talk to the people you know for 2 minutes. You had to go find somebody
That was
you
our
did not
mix.
know.
What is now our mix
What is
used
now
to be
our
2-minute
mix
rule.
was our 10-minute rule.
Two
Two.
minute rule.
2 minutos. Okay.
Rule.
So that people would know in our church that we weren't just about one another. We were about the newcomer, the visitor that really wanted and was looking for relationships
Yeah.
too. So that 2-minute rule is in our culture, whether we call it that or not.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about it today because we're not just at one campus now. We have our 2 campuses, and
That's
then
right.
even trying to implement the same thing with our online campus. It's got to be intentional. So let's talk about that for a little bit because all of these ministry environments, whether it's the campus itself, online environment, or in our children's ministry, wherever it may be, steps in the parking lot, we all have to have that same mindset as it pertains to culture.
Yes.
And if a culture is going to be established, then it is a mindset. It has to first be a mindset. That's the cultured part. I've developed, I embrace, I process, I think like this, and then that cultured is what creates the culture that is really a way in which we operate and really our heart is all on the same page here. So we want to be able to do that. And I want to use an example of South Beach versus Palm Beach. Right there, if you've been to both of those locations, you will see that both of them may be a beach, but 2 of them, they share totally different kind of cultures.
That's right.
If you're in South Beach, it's all about kind of the party. Everybody lets their bar down. Their even their bathing suits are down. I mean, it's a nasty environment. It's not
gross.
something that you and I want to go hang out
No.
in. It's not something that clicks with our values. And we can go over the bridge from Miami and go over into South Beach, and it's a total different environment. It's a culture.
Right.
Now, if you go up north to Palm Beach, all right, you're in Palm Beach, you'll also go over a bridge and you will get into the Palm Beach area, and it's totally a different culture. You
That's right.
have Worth Row that's there, high-end shops right there as you drive in. And then you see real manicured lawns and manicured golf courses and
Families.
beautiful hotels,
Yeah,
high-end cars,
that's right.
high-end hotels. So we were there recently at a fundraising gala at the Biltmore or come on, what
The
was it, Mary?
It's not the
Not
Biltmore.
the
Help us,
Biltmore.
guys. What is it? What's that place
Anyhow,
called?
one of
Whatever,
the
that big
big ones
hotel.
there that'll hit us in just a minute. While we were there, we could tell as soon as you walk in, people thought different, acted different, and you could see that it was a certain culture from the way that they just processed and operated, from the way they dressed to the way they talked. And when you were there, they expected you to be that way. They
That's true.
expected you to understand when you're in this environment, this is how you operate.
It's good.
That's what we want about Metro. There's churches all over Miami, and we're grateful for them. Great churches, bigger than ours. But at Metro, when people come, we want them to understand our culture. And here's what our culture is going to ultimately boil down to: it's always going to be people over programs,
Yep.
people
That's good.
over paperwork, people work. We have to always focus on people. And if we do that, then we understand why we will say things like, we're all about the 3 R's:
Hmm.
relationships, relationships, relationships. We want to encourage people to have a relationship with God, have a relationship with each other in the church, as well as have a relationship with people outside of the church.
And Steve, we know this. It is about people. It's not about age. It's not about ethnicity
Mhm.
or color. It's not about stature. It's not about wealth. It is about a mutual understanding of what our environment at Metro Life will be, no matter what shape or size you are, no matter what personality you have or color your skin, or your age. It's all about the culture that we set and what that expectation is
Mhm.
going to be.
It's the Breakers Hotel. The
Breakers!
Breakers in Palm
Woo-hoo!
Beach. The old guy had to figure it out.
I was going to say Breckenridge. I
So
couldn't
here's the
come up with
point,
it.
Mary. This has to start from the head down.
Yes, it does.
And for me, that just became a reality. People, even those that share my faith, but even those that don't share my faith,
Right.
that became a real value to me when I had my heart attack. And those 5 paramedics, I used to
Yeah.
make this statement: I didn't care if they were black, white, gay, straight, Jew, Muslim,
Did not
Christian.
matter.
I didn't care. God used those 5 men to save my life. So it shows us more and more how valuable people are. We have to embrace them. And so it starts from us down. That's why you'll see us doing our best to interact with as many people in our church as possible. We like to go to our own groups. We like to be able to hang out with people because it's going to always be about the people. But it also has to flow down from every other leader and worker that is in our church. People have to be first. So here's what happens. If you want to create culture, people will create culture. And then at the same time, culture will create people.
That's good.
Meaning people with the mindset go in, and because we're all on the same page, we create this culture. And then it's in that culture, as we put people into it, that now these people will start to, or this culture will start to create the people. So that means people walking through our church, because we're creating the culture of people and relationship, then the more people come and get into our culture, relationship will be of value to them and it'll be a priority. And you're going to find more and more, there's more blessings that come from
Yes.
people than any other thing that we
Mm.
have in our hand. People will be our greatest blessing.
Yep.
So listen, Mary and I believe that it starts with the right people. You're the right people.
Absolutely.
And you could help create this mindset. So let's do this. What should be a cultural mindset for ministry at Metro? Well, it's going to be twofold. And you've heard these phrases that we've stated before. The first one is this: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. What does that mean? Well, really, it comes down to this. You can know everything about life. You can know everything about your Bible. But none of that is going to matter to a person if you don't show them that you care about them first.
Right.
It's like, let me touch the heart before I try to touch the head. Let me make sure that people know that no matter what has happened to them, what they've done, good, bad, or indifferent, they matter.
Right.
So we've got to be focused on the heart. How do I touch a person's heart? How do I let them know I really do care for them? Now, this doesn't always pan out when you get people come together. Everything is fun and dandy on Sundays. People dress their best, look their best, smell their best, they act their best. So Sundays isn't real life. But what happens outside of the church doors, Monday through Saturday? What we find is that's when some of our people will end up butting heads. And that'll happen. It's normal.
It's relationships.
It's part of
That's
trying
right.
to connect with each other. But what happens when we disagree and we have a fallout? Do we just cut each other off? No. That's actually when we have to prove that we're more focused and interested in the heart of a person than the head.
Right.
You make a statement on occasion about credit it to a person's head, not their heart.
Not
What
their
does
heart.
that mean?
I think when we're working together, the importance of not judging someone and creating a story in our head about that person, and also knowing there's an enemy that really wants to keep us divided. So if we're always expecting or believing the worst about somebody, then we'll never believe the best. So the way to do that, to believe the best, is just charge it to their head. They didn't mean it. That's not what they were doing. That wasn't a dirty look.
They
They're
weren't
going through something.
thinking.
They weren't thinking. They didn't mean that. They were just joking. We had a scenario like that recently in our office about something that had happened at one of our camps. And one of the campers, we didn't really know that well, but one of our leaders did. And so when we brought up kind of processing the situation, the staff member that knew them, it was such a beautiful picture of relationship. They went, that is not what they meant. I'm telling you, that is not, they don't think. And it just brought all of the defensiveness down because she was able to tell us, charge it to their head. That did not come from their heart.
Yeah.
And when we operate in that, and that is like our default, it's not normal. It's very abnormal to us. Our instinct is to protect ourselves and charge it to somebody's heart. They've got something out against us. They're trying to hurt us. But relationship says, if I really want to stay in this for the long haul, let me practice believing the best in them
Yeah.
and charging it to their head. They didn't mean it, rather than it's coming from someplace in their heart. They've got something against me.
I'm thankful that Jesus didn't go around and pick and choose who he wanted to die for,
Yeah.
who he wanted to love.
Yeah.
He came, the Bible says, for all humanity.
Right.
And that's because he was looking for the heart,
Yeah.
not the head.
That's
So
right.
as we do this, we've got to focus on the heart. And it's normal to think that the program is super important, and we're grateful for good programming, and we need to do our best, which we'll hit next. But the people have to always be first. And a great example of that, great example for that is the story of Mary and Martha over in Luke chapter 10, verse 38 through 43. We won't read it, but you know the story. Mary sitting at the feet of Jesus. Martha is incredibly busy in the kitchen. And Jesus makes this statement when Martha gets mad at Mary for not working enough. He says, Mary has done the precious thing. She's done the most important thing, which is just to sit down and relax and relate,
Yeah.
connect, have that intimate relationship. Sometimes we can get so busy with the programming at church. I've got to be here at a certain time. I've got to make sure that all my material is in place. I'm making sure that the room is picked up and organized and the leaders are all there. And I'm so worried about the program that sometimes we can walk right by somebody
Yes.
who needs our attention and is hurting. And now what we've done is we've made the program more important than the person.
Right.
And we try our best. When I walk out of my office before service or as service is starting, I try to walk by people, just pat them on the shoulder, shake their hand. My MPAs, which is our minister's personal assistants, you'll see Donald DeGregory next to me and some of the other guys. They all carry our Bibles, not because I need somebody to. be my yes man. I just ask that they do it so my hands are free, so
Right.
I can embrace somebody if I see them. I'll touch the guy that's running camera just on the leg, just to let them know I see you and I'm grateful. I always want our people to know. You'll see me walk on the platform behind Alan Paul or one of the guitar players or even the drummer. I'll walk over, I'll rub their shoulder, I'll point at them. I want them to know I see you because
Right.
you are important. People will always be a priority. They got to know how much I care
That's right.
if I want them to know and believe what I'm actually sharing
That's right.
from them.
And there's a lot of reasons why people come to Metro.
Yeah.
But there's some specific reasons, and we want to encourage you to write this down because maybe you are this way. Your eye gate kept you at Metro. You saw that. You saw Pastor from the platform being more relational, which is intentional, guys. It's intentional because that's the heart of our ministry. But here's 3 reasons that people come to Metro. Are you ready? And this involves you. Number 1, God brings them. God's in charge. He draws people. The Bible says that it's the Holy Spirit that draws men to him. Secondly, the music and the message gets their attention. They love it. They come back for more. But also, and I think most importantly, what keeps them there is the relationships that they form with other people. I have this, I was telling the staff this recently at our last Womanity Night. I walked out into the lobby thinking I would get bombarded. You know, I preached, I brought a great word. I felt so good. I'm going to go out into the lobby and talk to my girls and get a little pat on the back. I walked out into the lobby, Steve, and all the Womanity ladies were like in their little groups from camp and connect groups that were all connecting. Nobody talked to me. Not one person talked to me. I'm like, what have we built? We built a church that ignores their pastors?
Oh, that's the greatest feeling in
The
the world.
best.
Thank you.
Keep at it. No,
Yeah.
the thing that I was so blown away with was we are seeing the fruit of our intentionality of setting the culture for relationship. Yes, God's going to do his part. We're going to make sure the production is good. We're not going to embarrass your friends when you bring your friends to church. But also, we're going to be so intentional about relationship that it goes down. It's multi-layered. It's not just for pastors. It goes all the way down to the brand new person that walks through the doors and says, I'm lonely. I don't have friends like this. This is the church for me. So all of us have to play a part. And that Womanity Night showed me that we are building that church. And all of us, every single one of us, every leader must make people their priority.
Yeah.
And then work hard on their programs.
Yeah.
People over process. People are first.
Yeah. And that's going to look like this. If people are going to be important, then the first thing you're going to be thinking about is connecting with them. You have to have that personal connection. There has to be that relationship that is important. That means as a leader that's helping us minister, if you look around and see that some of your people aren't here in church, go looking for them.
Right.
Go find them.
Yes.
Make sure that you are connecting with them. Hugs, handshakes, texts, calls. You're connecting. You're not just leaving it up to a Sunday experience. You're only not connecting with them, by the way, when they're just here at church to do what you need them to do. No, you're thinking about them during the week.
That's right.
And I'm thankful that we have a lot of chats. Some of you don't like it on your phone because you've got so many different chats going on. But you know,
But it's
not
necessary.
everybody has.
No.
They're not a part of 10 chats.
That's right.
Not everybody has that privilege when they come to church and then when they go home. They don't have people checking in on them regularly. But your text during the week can make a big difference because you're connecting with them. If you're also going to build a relationship and make them feel important, you got to call.
Yep.
If you don't see them, check in with them. Just don't text them and say, hey, I'm praying for you.
No, be personal. Call them.
And by the way, if you do tell them you're going to pray for them, pray for them. Actually do it. Take 30 seconds. Lord, I lift up so-and-so. I saw they were having a hard time this week. I lift them up. And by the way, you could see what their lives are like on social media.
Yeah.
So you are aware of
Nothing's
how they're
hidden
doing.
anymore, huh?
No. But then celebrate them. Be encouraging to your team. This is so important, Mary.
It is.
All of us together, we've got to be able to just encourage one another. And after every service, whether they're running their teams out in the parking lot or ministering to our kids, have a minute where you just gather them around and say, thank you. You helped us minister Jesus to everybody that we touch today. And then lastly, coach them.
Mm.
Let me get this to you. If you're going to connect and make people feel important, you're connecting with them, you're calling them, you're celebrating them, and then you're coaching them.
That's
What
good.
is coaching? Just try to come along and keep your team players heading in the right direction. And if you sense that they're off, come alongside of them, not to correct them, but to coach them. Don't call them out. What do we say? Call
them
them
up.
up.
That's right.
Help them be better people. They will appreciate it in the long run.
And we're getting ready to get into another part of this that is like your mantra. It's your mission statement. It's what you want on your tombstone. And it's really such the core part of the heart of Metro.
Right.
But I want to set it up by this thought, because I was having this thought. We were saying, what were we going to wear for this? And you said, I'm going to wear my new Goodfellas shirt. I said, well, I'm going to wear my Womanity t-shirt. And as we're walking in here today to film this, I thought, we wear the t-shirt secondary, but we really truly believe in substance over symbolism. It is not symbolism over substance. What do I mean? I don't know anything about football. Nothing. Okay. As much as I've watched it, I don't know. Just because I have a Dolphins jersey does not mean that I'm a part of the Dolphins. I can wear the t-shirt. I can wear the jersey. I can even go to the games. I can even maybe get into the locker room at the end. I am not a player. I have to adopt the culture. That's really just symbolism. It's not substance. Now, the players don't put the jerseys first. They put the experience and the training and the coaching and the team tapes where they're going back and they're watching their execution. We know this, that when they bring in new players, the players have to learn the culture of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I got all the guys' attention in the room.
I'm telling
right?
you, I'm a little impressed.
But listen, we have to adopt the team that we are on. It's not just the t-shirt. The t-shirt is symbolism. It isn't substance. We wear the t-shirt to let everybody know that we have adopted the team principles, the core value of the teams, which means we like it and we're coaching for it and we have the same values and we are living and dying by this operation and the way our culture is set. That's what sets Metro apart from any other church in Miami. And by the way, we never have to be in competition with any other church. It's an oxymoron, y'all. What other churches are doing, God's calling them to do. But at Metro, God is calling us specifically for this mission, for relationship. And if you don't like it, you won't come back to Metro. But we have to understand that there's training involved, there's coaching involved, there is obligation and responsibility, so that when we put that t-shirt on, we know we're a part of a team that we've prepared for. I just wanted to say that before you launch into the next.
I think that's very important.
Parts.
So let's go back to something. Here's the point. We said the first aspect to creating culture within the church is this mindset that people are always going to be important. So it's people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Let me ask you this question. If we were to test scale of 1 to 10, how you doing on that?
Yeah.
How are you getting across the people that you're leading and working with? How are you getting that message across to them? Are people more important to you than programming? We need them to be.
Yeah.
So if you're at a 1 or a 2 and you realize, oh man, I got a long way to go, perfect. Start today. Turn to somebody right now and tell them, you're important to me. Let them know. Maybe it's an opportunity for you to text some of your workers and tell them you care for them and you're grateful for them. Make sure you're doing something to bring yourself up so that we can all be 10s in this area. Now, the second mindset that we need, and yes, it is something that I strive to lead my life by, comes down to this. We lead by example, not by parking space.
Yes.
What does that mean? Now, we throw it out there. Some people just don't know what that is. Well, let's say it this way. Most would say the pastor of the church is the pastor because he's got a title. If you walk into his desk, into his office, it has right there on the front of his desk, it is nameplate, and underneath it, his title. He may have a parking space out back that says pastor on it. That's how some people lead their lives. I lead because I have a title. What we're saying and what I strive for in my life is to lead people, not by a title, but by my example. I'm out ahead. I am leading people because I'm doing the work first. I'm
Yes.
doing the work to the best of my ability. I'm out front and I'm being an example based on my behavior. In our church, when it comes down to showing how important people are, we have to be people that lead our lives by example. And it starts by leading ourselves. Scripture talks about the blind leading the blind, that if a blind person is leading the blind person, then they both will fall into a ditch.
Yeah.
You want to stay out of ditches?
Mm,
Come on.
that's right.
You have to lead yourself first. So there's ways in which we do this. And I can tell you, this is something, especially now as a leader, we got the mindset of a leader now. Here's some things that we want to make sure that you are leading your own life by.
Yes. Well, the first one is personal growth. You make sure that you are personally growing. You, not your spouse, not other people. You personally are growing. You do that through prayer, through meditation, spending time with the Lord, studying, worship. And listen, one of the most greatest ways to grow personally is to not allow outward pressure to put pressure on you to grow, but inward pressure. You put that pressure on yourself. I need to grow personally in these areas with the Lord.
Yeah. And if you're going to grow personally, then here's another area we're going to lead your life by example. It's personal accountability.
Mhm.
You have to remain teachable at all times. Yes, we all know a lot and we're grateful for the knowledge that you have, but you also have to be willing to learn more.
Yeah.
Sit in the seat of a student at all times. It helps keep you humble.
That's right.
It really does. You got to know, hey, I can learn something.
Mm.
I can learn from anybody. Even in the scripture, God used a donkey to speak to the apostles. If God could use an ass, he can use any of us or anyone to teach us. So when it comes to you leading by example, always exercise personal accountability and do this while you're being accountable.
Mm.
Remain offense free.
Good.
It doesn't matter. Whoever puts pressure on you from the outside, you're fine with it. If they're pushing you to be better, then embrace it. Yes, you grow personally by the inner strength, but when outward pressure comes, then be willing to embrace it. Yeah, they may not have said it the way you want them to say it, but take it. Be a great learner. Keep yourself accountable.
The next one is personal actions. Personal actions. What does that mean? Be the first to show up and be the last to leave. Something that has always been a pet peeve of ours amongst people that are on the team leads is to be the last ones to get there. And then they just can't wait to book it and get out of there. And what it really shows, whether they mean that or not, is that they don't want to be there. When you're the last to get there and you can't wait to get out, what we want on our teams are people that understand my personal actions matter. People see my behavior. I want to be the first to get there. It shows I'm excited to be there. And I'm the last to leave. Where am I going to go? This is the best place to be.
Well, that right there, your personal actions about that, about keeping your word, even leading with your tithes and
Yes.
your offerings and your giving. If you're responsible for people and you constantly show up late,
Yeah.
that sends a message, the wrong message that says you're not important to me.
Yeah, it does.
You know, if you're a team member and you're asking all your team to get together and you're the member of the team that's the weak link in the chain, it says to the rest of the team members, you're not important to me. And this right here helps us take care of the first point where we talked about people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, and people are important. Right here, your personal actions, it helps demonstrate to others that you care for them.
And that's why tithes, paying your tithes as a part of our team member is a very high priority for us, because how do we say we're a part of something that we want God to bless, but we do not do our part to sow the seed that God has called us to sow?
Yeah.
We can't be robbers. And then expect the blessing.
No, and it's hard to tell somebody to tithe if you're not tithing.
Right.
It's hard to tell somebody and challenge somebody to give an offering if you're not giving an offering. Matter of fact, you probably will not tell them to tithe or give an offering if you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And we as pastors and leaders of this church, campus pastors, we need our entire church family tithing and giving offerings. And so therefore, personal actions. We lead by example with our personal actions. Another place is in personal hygiene. Now, this is touchy, and it's, you're stepping on some toes here. But guys, we lead our life by example by the way that we present our temples.
Yes. Our
We're to
body
present our bodies
as a temple.
as a temple
That's
or an
right.
example,
Example.
a sacrifice. Okay. Now, I wasn't doing the best at this. For many years, I struggled with my weight. And many of you that were with us during the early years, you saw that. And I hate even going back and showing pictures. But there is a before and after.
Right.
And the before was not healthy at all. I
No.
thought I was, but I wasn't. So I start this year off, and I'm going to admit something to you. I've said it to some people, but I haven't said it publicly because this has just been my one area that I've been a little rebellious with, and I've allowed an excuse to keep me from doing it. But it's been about exercise. I've been eating right. I've been visiting my doctor. He helps me do it right. I'm taking all sorts of supplements and my medication, but one area was I haven't been spending the time to work out. And I've had an excuse, and I made it about time. Well, our staff is going through a coaching session right now. Every week they're being coached. We're paying for it. And I'm sitting in on the coaching session, and the guy starts talking about excuses. And I'm sitting in this class, and I've got this big excuse about not working out and taking care of my temple. And I could not hear hardly one thing the guy said. All I was hearing in my ears was, "You're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
You're letting your excuse keep you from leading in this area of your life."
Mm.
So I text Mary. I said, "All right, I don't want you to tell anybody. We're not going to talk about this for 30 days. We're just going to do it. This is what we're doing." All it took really was one day that I had to adjust my schedule just a little bit. And then I attached at the end of the week a little celebration time, said, "All right, after Friday's deal, we're going out for breakfast." I attached a little celebration because if I was going to make the sacrifice, I needed to have a little motivation. All of that to say, I want to stand before our church, and I want you to stand before our church and be able to present yourself, your body, your personal hygiene, from the way you take care of your weight, your hair, your fingernails, your shoes, your clothes, everything. You are saying, "I'm leading by example right here." And that's a big testimony to people, because most people that we're rubbing shoulders with, Mary, they want to be better.
Right.
They need a mentor. They need inspiration. They need somebody that will motivate them.
Right.
And so that is a big area that we have to have a healthy presentation at all times.
And I just want 10 seconds. The first thing I want to say about that is when you let that excuse go, it affected me. I had to let the excuse go, but it removes blinders. When you're willing to say, "I've got to get my health in order," what you're saying to the devil is, there's no blinders on me. There's no blind spots. There aren't things that aren't pleasing to God that I'm just willing to overlook. You're saying no more blinders. That's why we hit that so hard, and we want to live by that. The second thing is, in an effort of full disclosure, I have to be honest with you. I told everybody last Sunday at the
I
end
know
of this
you
service.
did.
I'm just letting everyone know I did tell them that we were in the gym. So he said he hadn't told them publicly.
I said
I told
30
everybody.
days.
I told everyone.
30 days.
Both
When we're
services.
past 30, we're almost at 60.
Okay, good. So that wasn't.
You didn't let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, okay, good. Well, because people are noticing my muscles. So I had to say something.
Somebody noticed
No
your
one
muscle.
noticed anything.
All right,
Moving
come
on.
Yes, talking about leading by example, not by parking space. How about personal relationships? How are you doing there personally? Are you leading by example? Are you building relationships, or do you need people to help build a
Mm.
relationship with you?
Yep.
Here's what we want to encourage you to do. Have relationships with people outside of your immediate family. And by all means, just don't be a loner. Guys,
Right.
I can manage life pretty much on my own. Pretty much. I've gotten spoiled. But okay, I can manage life with Mary and I on our own. But I need people.
Right.
And I force myself to be in relationships and with people.
That's right.
To help build relationships. It's really a sign of a healthy person when they can build and have relationships. So have them, build them. Then when you do have them, build them, protect them.
Yes.
And just don't be a lone ranger. It's hard
No, it's
to
not
say
good.
we're a church about a relationship and the pastor be a loner.
Yeah.
not
Or
gonna
staff
happen.
members or team. Also, personal boundaries.
Oof.
This is another one. Personal boundaries. Protect yourself at all times. This is just part of the culture of what we operate in. It's an understanding and a revelation that we know with all the beautiful things about relationships and working together. We also have to know what the boundaries are so that we don't cross them. That is just really, really important for us to understand what boundaries are.
There's a reason we, in our prayer team, have men go to pray with
Yep.
men and
And
women
women
go
to
to
women.
pray with women.
It's to protect us.
It's boundaries. There's a reason in
Absolutely.
our office that we just won't counsel the opposite sex.
Yep, that's
There's
right.
a reason we'll always keep our doors open when we're meeting with another staff member, because we just want to make sure there's transparency and we're all vulnerable in certain environments. So we have to protect ourselves. And that protect yourself at all times. That's the last thing that you'll hear an umpire say when
Yeah.
the fighters break away. Protect yourself at all
Yes,
times, even though it's
absolutely.
illegal to hit below the belt, but you better protect below the belt because they may hit you there.
Yep.
And if they do, oof, you're done.
Yeah.
So that's important. You've got to have personal boundaries. All of that is helping us to lead our lives by example. And what that's doing, Mary, the blessing of this is that it helps us grow.
Yeah.
Every time we do
Yeah.
this, we're growing in our own lives. And that means you're better this year than you were this time
That's
last
right.
year. And next year, you're going to be even better because you're taking responsibility for your life.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of mindset that's creating the culture around our church where we're leading our life by example. And one of the reasons we want to do that is because I'll just say it towards Mary. I never want to hurt you
That's right.
by my life going off the rails.
That's right.
You know how I show how important relationship is? By making sure I'm doing things to never hurt you.
Yeah.
And you're doing things when you're leading by example that you'll never have to worry about hurting the followers that are working with you in ministry.
Yeah.
Because you're taking care of yourself and they won't have to. So as we pull this thing, start to bring it in for a landing. We're not there yet. Give us a few more minutes and we'll close out. Here's what we've got to make sure we're avoiding are potholes that can ruin the culture of our church. If we have a mindset that's creating a ministry culture of people over programs, and we lead our lives by example, then there's certain potholes we need to avoid along the way. For instance, unrealistic demands. Now, there's nothing wrong with having high expectations, so as long as there is always a healthy dose of realism. Plan your work in such a way that it allows everyone to walk alongside of you, because when you win, we win. Keep your demands realistic and fair with all people.
Here's another one. Blaming others. Take ownership. If the mistake is yours, if you were late, if you forgot to follow through for your team, own it. Be as quick to accept responsibility and grow from it as you would expect the people on your team. Because the worst thing that we do is when we shift the blame on other people when we need to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. Own it. Be the first to say, my bad, my fail, not on you. I'm going to fix that. And don't blame others.
And then don't be threatened by other people's success on the team. When one wins, we really all win. And no one has to be the person out there taking the glory for it. Matter of fact, that's
That's right.
pride. And
That's
pride
right.
cometh before the fall. Fall of a person, fall of an organization. Don't be threatened by others. Matter of fact, let other people share in the spotlight. Can I encourage you right here? Don't be the only person that is talking.
Yeah.
You may be great at conversations, but listen, we need other people to talk as well.
Mm.
Let other people share the spotlight. Don't always take the glory on yourself. Matter of fact, never take the glory for yourself. Let somebody else put the glory on you. If you've got to compliment yourself all the time, that's troublesome.
Yeah.
When other people compliment you, great, embrace it. But be the first one to compliment others. Let other people share in the spotlight.
Another one is power struggles. Don't get into power struggles with people on your team. You know, Steve, we're developing these relationships.
Mm-hmm.
In some, they're new. People have been coming in the last 6 months. What we want to fight against to set the culture is that we will not ever allow power struggles on our teams. Trust and respect is always needed to keep the team working together and all on the same page. And it's easy to get behind somebody you trust. So be a team leader, be a team player that doesn't get into power struggles. And if you see one happening or forming, call it out right away and make sure you protect and preserve the culture that we do not struggle against each other. We don't battle against flesh and blood. We know we have an enemy that would like for us to get into our flesh every Sunday morning, but we fight against that. We do not allow power struggles in our team and in our culture.
Yeah, another pothole will be dishonesty.
Mm.
Dishonesty will always come to bite us in the bud. It'll always come back to haunt us. You reap what you sow. You never want to be found having to explain a lie. So always be transparent. Always be open. Always be honest. Which means let your yay be your yay, your yes be your yes, your no be your no. Don't say yes if you know in your mind you're not going to back it up. Always say yes and then mean it. And if you can't, then let your no be your no. It really does help everybody stay on the same page. I can only trust what I hear you say. And you want to make sure you're not exaggerating and you're not stretching the truth. Be honest. It helps in the culture of people and relationship.
Another pothole is creating an atmosphere of fear. And fear can be a very strong motivator at times, but it's also a weak leader. It's a crutch that keeps you or maybe your team crippled. So don't let fear ever get in the way of your leadership, of your ability to be a leader, or of your ability to just be a part of something great. Don't let fear get in the way. The Bible says to be angry and sin not. And the moment anger is used to control somebody, it becomes sin, and then sin cripples. How do those things play together? Well, sometimes out of our fear, because we're motivated by the wrong things, maybe the power struggles or the desire to be something that we're not, and we're afraid people are going to think we're fakes and imposters. No, God's brought you here. Operate in what he's called you to operate in. It'll stir up anger within yourself. So don't let fear lead you. God has not given you a spirit of fear. He's given you a spirit of love and of a sound mind.
Excellent. Using people instead of valuing people. That's a big pothole that many will fall into, meaning that we could use people just because we need them for our ministry responsibility. Listen, though we need people, we should never need people.
Right.
If you need people to the point that you only treat them in a way because you need them, then you'll never be able to lead them.
Right.
So the real phrase is, if you need people, you can't lead people.
That's right.
You want to be able to lead people, which means love the person more than what the person is doing for you.
That's right.
Ministry will always require us to use people. The church, matter of fact, is like the biggest group and pool of volunteers that you'll find in organizations today.
That's right.
We survive based on the volunteers. And as those volunteers come and give us their time and their energies and their talents, we've got to show them that we value them more than even what they do. So make sure that you use or see people as a value to what we're doing. So value them. And this is huge to me because I never want anybody to come to this church and ever feel like that they are just being used.
No.
If I text you here's what I'm going to say on my text. First, I'm going to say, before I ask you to do anything, hey, how you doing? Praying you're having a great week. By the way, can I ... I always want the
That's
message
right.
to be you and your week and your family is more important to me than what you're doing. That's just one way in which I'm going to try to send a message more than ever that the person is more important to me than the program that they're a part of.
Yep. That's right. Another pothole, and that's such a good one, what you just said, but we got to keep moving, is unclear vision, goals, and values. And, Steve, we cannot thrive in confusion and chaos.
Mhm.
We cannot. We have to know what the goals are, what is the vision for the ministry, and it has to be clear. Now, we're still working on that, and we're going to continue to work on
Yeah.
that because we've grown. Both campuses are growing. There's been some changes, good changes. God's brought us new leadership because we've had to divide and conquer. And it's brought everybody up. It's like all the boats rise with the tide. And we're feeling that right now at Metro. That's why you're having this team conference.
Yeah.
That's the reason this is so important. And if you're sitting here and somebody that is on your team isn't there, or you're a lead of a team and half your team's not there, take a second and text them all and say, I want you to know I am sitting here and it is so good. And we're going to have a better team than we've ever had before. Pastor Chris, Pastor Armando, Pastor Stephen Mary, they're pouring into us, and our team's going to be so great. We're going to get clear vision, and we're going to set some goals and just run circles around other teams at church on Sunday, because it's going to be awesome. Because God is a God of order. He hates chaos. He hates confusion. And we have to seek the wisdom of God. You need to pray for Pastor Steve and I. You need to pray for your leaders to get the wisdom from the Lord to help us define and refine and then implement the proper leadership strategy to be effective, to change lives. The world changes, technology changes, and there will be some tweaks and changes along the way that we have to make. So we will always be setting clearer and more precise vision and goals for our ministry and what the expectation will be of you.
I want you to think about something. There are corporations and people that are running businesses in our church that right now that employ hundreds
Yep.
of employees,
Some thousands,
right?
yes.
And it's really a paycheck
Yes.
that keeps them in the house,
Right.
keeps them connected to their job. We have hundreds of
That's right,
volunteers
Steve.
that help Metro do what Metro does.
That's right.
Pastor Chris and Doral, Pastor Armando and Dadeland, campus pastors. They've got hundreds of volunteers that are under them on a regular
That's right.
basis to get everything done. I mean, just take our camps, for example.
Mm.
We take 12 people to camp, but we have 12 leaders that
Yeah,
go to camp.
that's
That's
right.
12 volunteers just to take care of 12 people. One volunteer to every person
That's
that
right.
goes get ministered to. We have our work cut out for us,
That's it.
but we also know how important it is that these volunteers that we work with and our leaders know from us how important they are. So the last pothole I want to mention to you is this. If you want to destroy the culture of Metro, then a lack of authenticity will do that. Can I empower you? Can we empower you? Be who you are.
Yeah.
Be
Oh,
real.
yes.
Be
Yes.
authentic. You don't have to be a
Yes.
fake. You don't have to put on a game and a show. Be who you are. The good, the bad, the indifferent. All of that, we understand. But as a leader, just be real.
Mm.
I think more than ever, the world is looking for real people. To
Oh,
me,
they are.
relationship is
Absolutely.
not a game. It's not something we put on. I try my best to not be any different when I'm on the platform than I am when I'm off the platform. Yeah, maybe after a sermon, I may be a little tired, so I may not be as chatty or as engaging, but I try to always be the same guy up there than I
Yeah.
am on the
That's right.
main floor. Why? Because I think it's important to be authentic and real
And not phony.
and not phony. And
That's
if we're
right.
going to lead by example and we're going to let people know how much they care, then we've got to make sure we are being authentic and real and not fake. And
Yeah.
if we will do that, then I think all of us will keep a very healthy
Mhm.
environment and culture at Metro that's going to allow us to keep getting people off the road to hell and
Mm.
putting them on the road to heaven. We're going to keep saving marriages
That's right.
if we keep this focus on people. We're going to keep seeing young people
Serving the Lord.
serving God,
All
going to
their
camp,
days.
getting
That's
saved,
right.
and kids being excited and dancing. We're going to see these ministries and people being blessed if we as a church leadership always focused on people first. That's our culture. It's set. Let's protect it, and we will be blessed because of it. We hope you were inspired and encouraged today. Let's go get them, Metro.